Hey guys, welcome to the channel, welcome to the vlog, welcome to the harbor, welcome to the accent studio. It's a great day, it's Saturday, no one here, it's silent, and I got the entire day to just continue working on the remix. As you know, there was already part 1, like the drums, part 2, starting to arrange it. Today it will probably be all about sound design, like getting crispy, nice EDM kind of sounds to try and finish off that song. So yeah, sound design, probably my biggest enemy, to be honest. I'd say it's like where I'm the weakest actually. I just don't enjoy like sitting in front of a synthesizer for hours and like tweaking sounds. So my approach is actually like always using a preset as a starting point, which is nothing you should be ashamed of. Specialized people creating these kind of presets for you to use, and I then tweak them. So you of course should know how a synthesizer works, how to get what kind of sound, which character. Let's say you have a synthesizer sound that you like and it's just too short or too long, that you know how to set the attack, decay, sustain, and release. And it's usually really hard to get a synthesizer sound that just doesn't sound like a stock synthesizer sound. Usually they sound more like 80s kind of sounds, because that's where a lot of basic synthesizer sounds were used, because it was new. Now we have to come up with something way more creative. There's a lot of wobble bass and LFO stuff going on at the moment. I'm personally not a huge fan of it, at least not making this kind of music. For example, dubstep, I have a huge respect for anyone making dubstep. It's a lot of sound design, a lot of small sound design, little bits here and there. But for me, it's more about the music, about the melody and the groove. But anyways, let's just jump into Logic and let me show you the progress on the song. I've been actually working on the track yesterday late at night and started already a little bit with the sound design, mainly the main synthesizer sound. That's the core of the song. If this one works, everything else is extremely easy. Let me first of all play you the synth that I was using yesterday. Works actually really nice. It's unique, but for me a little bit too retro, a little bit too much Stranger Things, too much like 80s kind of synthesizer. So I copied down an instance just to keep this one safe, because sometimes you want to go back and you mess it up and there's like no way getting back. So always like duplicate it and do your changes in a new instance. Let's mute this one and actually solo the new one. It's very similar. I think the only thing I changed is like the EQing a little, getting rid of more of the low frequencies, boosting a little bit the top frequencies. I've added an LFO tool to just sidechain it. This is like the easy way sidechaining without a trigger kick actually. And I also went, of course, into Diva, the main synthesizer of the sound. Tweaked a little bit the attack, decay, sustain, release, just to make the sound a little shorter, and also the cutoff is a little bit lower to have more room in the top frequencies, because that's actually where we want to layer the next synthesizer sound. So my approach to this is I have a sound, a bass sound that makes like at least like 60 to 80% of the sound. And then I might layer one more, maybe two more, but not more than that, because then usually you're just making a very washed out kind of sound that just doesn't work. And then I'm thinking about what is my main sound lacking. And this one is lacking definitely attack, like an aggressive tone, maybe a little bit fuzzy electro kind of to it. And I personally also really like pluggy sounds. So I tried to find a synthesizer preset that could work. I ended up using Serum, which is a lot better for the more modern kind of sounding sounds. I have here a preset of one of the sample packs tweaked a little. I think it was set to mono, so you couldn't really play polyphonic. And also here the cutoff and a little bit in the LFO settings as well as in the envelope to get to exactly this sound. And then both together. which I think works. It does exactly what I wanted it to do. This took me maybe 2 hours at home with headphones on the couch, later in bed. My girlfriend wasn't really happy about it, especially me now having good mixing headphones that are actually open. So yeah, don't do that. It's not a good idea. But I ended up with a sound that I actually like. So we got the bottom layer that has the bass and like the longer notes, and then the very attacky, pluggy one on top with that little bite. For the EQing, the top one, I've of course cut it away most of the low frequencies that you might consider bass. We don't need that because twice the bass will not make the bass better. It will be too much, and this will just sound boomy and really annoying. Also on the bottom layer, let me open up the EQing so you can see both of them side by side. The top part is actually nonsense. It's just because I duplicated it. That's why both of them are the same, to be honest. But the low end is the important one. Even on the one that is providing the low end, I cut it to 55 Hertz to make room for the kick, because the kick is usually the lowest in electronic dance music and it needs to cut through. The sidechaining is usually not enough. And by cutting a little bit of the low bass note of the lower synthesizer, let me actually play it to you. By cutting a little bit into it, you actually lower the very bass part and can actually make the entire sound a little bit louder. So you kind of trick a little bit. You cut away the very low end, it's filled out by the kick, and then you can make the rest of the bass sound or the lead sound a little bit louder and make it punch through more through the mix and still have no problem with the low end. Then of course LFO tool on both of them for the side chaining, and that's pretty much it. I think, wait, no, I actually went into the plug settings here on Serum, into the effects, and I disabled the reverb because that reverb is just ugly. Doesn't sound good. Has this cheap, trancey 90s kind of sound. I hate it, so disabled it. This sound then got a reverb by me, Valhalla Vintage Verb, just like a pretty long one, but it's not mixed a lot into it. Sounds a lot drier, but still has like this little tail, and you won't need that much reverb actually. Once you start like layering, stacking kind of sounds, the less effects, the better actually, because you then have like 10 delays, 10 times reverb. Just keep the effect stuff on the main sound and maybe a little bit of reverb to give also the layers a kind of a room, maybe even use the same reverb. But be careful, I see a lot of people just stacking presets and presets and presets and all of these presets with delay, chorus, flanger, and it just sounds very, very, very bad and washed out. And you want your main sound to actually have a tag, to be up front and not be washed out in reverb. So let's actually listen to both of them with all of the effects and the drums. Still very simple, but sounds a little bit more modern, at least to me. I think this could be the main sound of this song. Also at home, I actually changed the kick, just to let you know about it. I chose another sample because the one that I had just didn't have the right bottom part. Because if you have like a bass that has more bass and is more emphasized, you need a smaller kick or a shorter kick. If your kick is really big and has like the bass part to it, your actual bass needs less. So you always have to either make the kick big and the main thing, or the bass the main thing. If you go in between, it's a little boring. I would really go with one of the two. I think having a kick with a bigger bass and a smaller bass with the bass, I hope this makes sense, is actually the easier way to do it, and that's what you hear on most club tracks. So yeah, got a new kick. That's really an experience thing. I just like to loop the song, go through the kicks and see which one works. This one actually kind of works. And I also changed the top part. Let me actually play to you just the kick. Has bass to it, but short and controlled, and the top part just a little click. That's actually a Lin drum, the very, very famous drum sample that you hear on almost every single Swedish House Mafia song, on every single Eric Prydz, Prida, Cyrus D song. It's almost always in there. It's like a nice click, a woody kind of click that's very unique to the Lin drum. If you want to just, I think in one of my sample packs, it's in there. I think in the very first one. I will try and link it down below. A lot of people use it as the click sound, because you have either like a very very clicky click, man, today, a very snappy, very analog sounding top kick, or you could go with like a hat or something that is more funky, more natural, more acoustic. And the Lin drum's kind of in between. You could take it anywhere, any kind of music, it kind of fits. Has a slight retro vibe to it, but yeah, I just love having it in there. It's like my go-to solution if I need something to cut through the mix. I also got a new off hi-hat. Very simple EQ just to get rid of the mud on the bottom end. And that's basically already the drop. I might add later on more drum elements and more effects here and there, but for now this is fine. I also yesterday evening went into the break. I heard this ARP sound. Already started automating it. The cutoff opens as well as the reverb, a really huge one. And this is just to like make everything rise. This could be one variation to a drop, just let it like close again and then hit it with a nice drum roll. There are millions of ways to get from the break to the drop actually. This one is like the simplest at the moment, so I will keep it just to keep on working on the song. I will definitely do an entire episode just about like build-ups once I get there. But I think first it's about refining the sounds. The next one is actually the guitar sound in the intro. Very simple, it's just like an amped guitar sound. So what I love to do is using a sample delay. It makes everything extremely wide. And if it's wide, left and right, spread out really wide, you have more space in the middle. So usually like around 400 delay on one of the channels should be good. Then, of course, a reverb. I'm using the instrument reverb. That's like one of the settings I made a while ago for my auto load. And I can use actually quite a lot of reverb because it's in the intro. There is not much going on. The less is going on, the more you can kind of cover the space and reverb. So we got the vocal, the guitar, a bass line, and that's it. Like leaves in the fall. 1 minute you want me so bad, then the next you don't want me at all. And I run when you call, 'cause you're my drug of choice. It's not my fault. Yeah, that's heading into some sort of direction. Yeah, I think now it's just more about like the details, the mixing, maybe changing some samples. Still not really sure about the clap sound. and tightening everything up. This would be like then like a proper mixing stage, but I actually like to first arrange it. So I think next up is arrangement, drop building, then mixing, and then mastering. So I hope to get this song done within the next... I could actually finish it today, but I'm, to be honest, delaying it a little bit to share everything with you. So yeah, we'll continue on this one tomorrow again. Or actually, no, tomorrow I don't have time. Tomorrow, regular episode. Then back to the song. I will try to cover everything. I hope you enjoy actually this entire making of process of this remix. And once we're done with that, back to the regular vlog. Because at the moment I'm also busy with another project, but more on that tomorrow. Tomorrow is like a special announcement kind of episode. And to the sound design again, go through the presets, find a sound that is close, tweak it a little, EQ it, layer it, maybe if necessary, and keep the layering like maybe 2 or 3 layers. If you do more than that, then maybe think about changing the chorus sound, because maybe something with that is not right. I know a lot of beginners, they layer and layer and layer because they think this is how you achieve like a good kind of sound. A lot of big club songs actually use just like one preset on top of another maybe. It's rare that a sound is made out of 3, 4, 5 layers. Just keep it simple. Electronic music, club music is just simple. It's all about executing this very simple stuff in the most precise way, and that's mostly done in sound selection and later on then of course the mixing. So thanks a lot for watching. Sign out.